So Richard Grace is the first one to log on this afternoon. It's morning somewhere though, right? I mean, come on. Yesterday, we had a new guy log in from Poland.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Beatrice from Belgium says, hello, photon chasers.
Mm-hmm.
Photon swallowers.
Photon capturers. That sounds.
Capturers. Photon users.
I like chasers.
You like chasers?
Yeah, it'd be a good drink. Photon
chaser.
Yep.
Yeah, after you swallow something like a, slug full of tequila or something, I guess.
Oof.
What
Why
do
a
you think
slug?
it would taste like?
Everclear.
I don't know.
Just
It's the light version of whatever it is, okay? All right.
let's just go ahead and do it because we're already 2 minutes in.
I have to share it first.
Oh, that's true. I forgot.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring.
Yes, it is.
I wondered if Richard Grace ever got moved in because he was moving, wasn't he?
I don't know. Maybe he'll tell us.
Maybe.
Harold Locke's watching. Elish Edward is watching.
Elish seems new. I've never seen that
Elish,
name.
you do seem new. Where are you from?
And of course, you got Martin Eastburn. He's checking in on the live on the action.
Yeah. Beatrice reminds us, yes, in China it's morning. So if Lubo logs on, then we're safe.
He's so Richard, he's in. So I guess he got moved in, but he still has
Oh, yeah?
lots to do.
Is the observatory up, which is probably the most important part of the house?
Yeah, the roll-off roof, or as other astronomy buddies of mine call it, the doghouse.
Is that what they call it? Because
Yeah,
that's
it's
where
like-
they get sent all the
That's
time.
where we get sent.
Well,
Oh, it's Chinese New Year today for them.
yeah. Oh, yeah. They're having-
They're partying it up till February.
Are you gonna party with them, Tyler?
No, I have to work, unfortunately.
It is pretty fitting that these are called cosmic flames. These packets are nothing but a bunch of different elements. So lithium makes red, barium makes green, and so on. And then they burn in these really pretty colors. Burning chemicals is a legitimate way to find out what something is. Chemists call it the burn test. All elements actually give off a signature when they are put into an excited state. Here, we are witnessing what happens in a fire. The James Webb Space Telescope will be able to read the same signatures from unknown stars and planets. I've been taking you through different elements that are built into the Webb telescope. Gold reflects infrared well and will not corrode. Beryllium is lightweight. Silicon is a tried and true semiconductor. Isn't it just poetic that Webb is designed to detect elements? Webb uses a device called a spectrograph. It works by splitting the light with a prism. We can tell what element we see based on the pattern from the light through the prism. Every element releases light at a different wavelength, and when that light is split by the prism, black bands appear due to the transition between the energy states. These are called absorption lines. The lines always appear in the same part of the rainbow, which is why we call them atomic fingerprints. I've made my own simple spectrograph to give you an idea about what Webb sees. And the object that makes this whole thing work is a relic of technology. It's a CD. CDs and DVDs use the same principle as another ancient device, the record. They use tiny tracks or bumps to convey the information. Records use a 3D representation of the sound, and a CD uses raised binary points. The point is that the discs have a very fine groove pattern that physically splits light. That's why they have a rainbow or iridescent color. Webb spectrograph also uses fine grooves to split light. The near-infrared spectrograph, called NIRSpec, is designed to take spectra from up to 100 objects at once. You don't need to go all the way to space to see the spectra from different objects. My little homemade spectrometer can tell me the primary element that different light sources use. Neon lights get their name because the lights use neon gases to get their color. Actually, the neon only refers to one color. These types of lights use other gases to make more colors. Let me show you the full spectrum of colors that we can see based on a combination of these different elements. Webb spectra really give more information than just the elemental makeup. They can also tell astronomers about the temperature, the mass, speed, and density of the objects as well. All elements have a cosmic start. Smaller elements are forged in the heat and pressure of a star. Anything larger than iron needs a powerful force of a supernova or colliding neutron stars. These elements may stay as dust clouds or eventually coalesce into asteroids or planets, characterized by their original elemental makeup. The spectra Webb will see not only tells us what elements we're looking at, but the warmth and the density of the bodies as well. So we might detect some distant biosignatures. Webb's build might use a scarce element like beryllium for its mirrors. But will this cosmically occasional element help us find something far rarer, like gaseous carbon, oxygen, or nitrogen? Can we determine where to find the building blocks of life in other worlds?
Still tapping away.
Hey, guys.
We were waiting.
They caught me. Oh, geez. So anyways, welcome everybody. This is Scott Roberts with the Explore Alliance and Explore Scientific. And this is the 27th episode of Focus on Astrophotography. And on today's episode, we've got Tyler and Annie, and we kind of let the cat a little bit out of the bag a little bit yesterday, Tyler, by talking about digital SLR photography. But I know that's the focus of your program. So I'm going to let you guys take it away.
So Scott mentioned today's show is going to be about DSLRs, and we'll touch a little bit on go-to mounts, a little bit like where to get started on, and we're going to mainly talk about Annie's journey of where she's at now and where she's fixing to go. So DSLRs, everybody seems to have one. I had one before I even started in astrophotography. They're basic, usually they're all basic one-shot colors. They could take pictures of the stars, they could take a picture of whatever, but the problem that we've always had is we can't get a whole lot of nebulosity in them because there's a particular little filter that blocks most of the IR filter or IR light or the infrared. But with modifications, I have too big of a hands. I can't do it. I have to have it sent in to somebody. Luckily, I have a good buddy in Arizona that does them for me. And that's who I sent Annie's camera into to get the IR filter removed on her little $50 camera, as she claims. But it doesn't matter. Any camera, DSLR or a higher or a lower, you're going to have to make that estimate or judgment call is, do you want to spend a couple $100s on something that you technically can't use anymore in normal photography realm? You can create some neat shots with it, but you're basically ruining an everyday camera to perform a hydrogen alpha mod, as I call it, or an IR mod or fully spectrum mod. So you kind of have to outweigh the pros and cons. Is it cheaper to go with a dedicated astronomy camera? It depends on what you want to get. But everybody, again, has got a DSLR. And we're going to talk with Annie about what mount she's wanting to use. Is she wanting to go with a telescope, or is she wanting to go with a telephoto lens? You know, how's she going to frame up a target? What's the best advice that, since she's a beginner, to give a beginner? So Annie, I'm going to throw it over to you. Literally throw it.
I don't. I really don't know what to say. I'm totally, absolutely 100% new to this. The reason I chose the camera I chose is because I wanted to push it to its limits. It really is technically worth about $50. I mean, it's an XS. It's from 2007. I have a T5i that I use for regular shooting. And so I don't really use my XS anymore. And I thought, well, I'm going to modify this one and see if I can get a little bit more life out of it. And so the other night when I took that one photo after you modified it, I was shocked. I was like, holy cow, this thing is crazy.
What was the difference that you noticed before the modification and after the modification?
How much light it let in. Like I was not expecting to be able to get Orion's Nebula. I was not. I mean, from the first time I shot with it, just doing some astrophotography with it, it just really didn't have, I couldn't open it up enough to do any, you know, it just didn't let enough light in. And so, I mean, I could open up as much as I could, but it just wasn't the same. And so it was crazy when I took that photo and then I stacked them and I saw that. I was like, that's insane.
So I think what you mean by light is Orion's Nebula in particular has a lot of nebulosity around it. Mm-hmm. And with a non-modified camera, it's hard to capture all that. You can't capture all the beautiful H beta, which I don't know if a DSLR can technically capture H beta, but all the reds. And some of the blues, depending on how long you leave the exposure open. But see, that's, I mean, that mod cost me $130. That's shipping back and forth plus the time. And the gentleman that I use does great work. He's done a couple of my cameras, and it was a night and day difference as far as seeing the exposure. Do you have the picture that you can show everybody?
Yeah, I have it, and it was night and day. I was not expecting to see the colors that I saw. And so let me get it back up. Hang on, see if I can find it on my desktop. I was absolutely floored. Because the first time I took photos, it was just like, oh, it's stars, and so
Not really.
but just taking photo. Well, the first time I took photos, I had what was it that you said I had in there? I can't even remember.
You had Jupiter and no, you had a planet. I can't remember the planet, but you also had Andromeda's galaxy.
Yeah. So, but everything was white, so it wasn't really. There was no. I wouldn't be able to. I'm new, so I was like, okay, it's stars. And then whenever you told me I had that, I was like, that's crazy. So let me show this. I showed it yesterday, but yeah, so this is what I took, and it's just I don't remember how long of an exposure it was. I know it was under 60 seconds, but it's about 10 shots stacked on top of each other in Lightroom. And so my other photos are nothing like this. I think they're on a different computer in the office, but I don't have them. So I don't have them, but yeah, it's just crazy, the difference. It's just absolutely insane. And I have to say, I took this photo with literally a spotlight shining on me, the moon shining. The spotlight was to my right, the moon was shining to the left of this photo, and then I had a huge street light shining to the left of me. So I had light all around me. So to be able to get that, I was really impressed with the modification, how much it changed everything.
So you got this DSLR now, and I'm assuming you shot this with what lens?
I shot it with I think it was a 70 to a 135. Does that sound about right, Tyler? Mm-hmm. I think I know it was up to a 135 millimeter, but it was like middle of the road kind of lens.
Okay, I'm trying to mute because the echo, because Eddie's literally there.
Right.
So we can tell that this is Orion's Nebula, obviously, because we can see Orion's belt in the middle. M42 is right below it, which obviously is Orion's Nebula. So you think around the 100 millimeter range, which it looks about right, because you almost got most of the constellation, but not all of it. What mount did you use? Did you just put this on a tripod? Did you use what kind of mount did you use for this?
So that was what was really fun, was I got to actually play with my IXOS 100. I took it out. I have not ever polar aligned it. So I just took it out, pointed it north. And first I went to the moon, started playing around with the moon. And then that's when I realized that I tried to zoom in on it, and then I went to go take photos, and I realized it was moving faster than what I had the mount going. So I didn't have it on tracking, which is something I'm still learning. I haven't really played with my IXOS 100, so I didn't have it on tracking at all. And then I went, and looked at something else. I can't remember what the other thing was, but then I realized that Orion was behind me. And so the great thing about the IXOS 100 is everything's in the catalog. So if you know things, if you know what the names of things are, as a beginner, I'm still learning the names of certain things. And so I knew what this one was called. I knew what it was. And so I immediately found it in the catalog. It took me a hot minute, but I found it, and then I slewed to it, and then I just played around with it. I manually had to move it around a little to get my camera, obviously to get it into frame, but, and then I just started clicking away. So
So what you're saying is with a rough polar line, no, we'll just might as well just say you pointed the thing north. You just slapped it on the ground
Yeah.
and slew to the moon, which the moon uses a different tracking rate, which it does. You'd be surprised how fast that moon actually moves when you're looking at it. It's like, I'm gone. But yeah, and you literally just went to M42 and it was right there in front of your screen. I mean, you could see the three belts of Orion, the belt of Orion, and you could probably make out M42, I would suspect, depending on what your ISO was. I don't know what your ISO was. I don't know. But folks, she literally was as giddy as a giddy schoolgirl could get because she took this. She was so giddy. She's literally below it. Giddy. Look at her. She's giddy now. She's giddy. She went from just taking a stock camera, DSLR, took, how many pictures did you take that day? I think it was 10 or 20, and you stacked them in Lightroom and you pointed at the screen, and me and Kent looked at it. It's like, oh, that's Andromeda. She's like, what? I got Andromeda? What? That's Andromeda? Like if she would have screamed or could have screamed, she probably would have, but everybody was here at work and we would have all been concerned. But just what she was able to capture in the backyard, and now she's able to do this with just 10 frames is pretty astonishing just for a beginner. She hasn't crossed the realm yet into dedicated astronomy cameras. All she's got to do is ask, and I'll let her borrow one of mine. But what's your next step? You use a telephoto lens again, but are you planning on using a telescope? If you are, what telescope? Are you going to use the same mount? Are you going to get a bigger mount? Or are you just going to stick with telephoto lenses for now just to get the basics and learn how everything works?
it's probably going to be a mixture right now. Right now, we've been trying to put an image train together. I have an ED80 carbon fiber. The IXO 100, I need to get another counterweight for it because by the time I get my my back focus and get all my camera set up on it and all that stuff, it's going to have some more weight on the other side. So there's a couple of things we have to gather up, and just like everybody else in the industry that's waiting on stuff, just because I work here doesn't mean that I get to just pull stuff. It doesn't work that way. So I need some extension tubes and some things like that. And Tyler's been helping me with that. But so my goal is right now is I'll just continue to play with my camera until I get everything in and I can attach to that ED80, and then I'll get my camera set up. I'm really excited to get a telescope on there because I want to be able to, I have never done that. And I want to be able to, I really want to push that camera as far as I can push it. Like I want to see what types of photos I can take with it. I mean, it's way old. I mean, you're talking, we're in 22.
What is it? A 10 megapixel camera?
I don't know. I'd have to look up the specs on it.
I think I looked up, it was a 10 megapixel camera. And that's almost 20 years old, at least.
It's from 2007. I mean, that's when it came out. I mean, that's how long I've had it. So, my goal is to push it as far as I can, just because I'm interested to see how much I can get out of it. But the way I want to learn is I want to learn. I don't want to just jump to like a telescope and just a astro camera and just start taking photos. Like I want to learn the process. I want to, I just want to learn everything about it. I don't want to just go, oh, I can take great photos. So that's one of the reasons why I chose this camera, was because I knew it was older and I knew it would be a process. And I wanted to go from the basics. So and learn how to do it. I mean, that's one of the reasons I want to learn how to drift a line. I want to learn how to do certain things, because if I'm ever in the field and I don't have something, that can help me with that, then I want to know how to do it myself and just do it.
Yeah. Speaking of your telescope, so what we're planning on or what me and a fellow QCer that works here at Explorer Scientific are going to do with Annie is we're going to literally walk her through the basics of a telescope. So she knows the ins and out of a telescope, how to collimate it. What if it accidentally drops and it gets knocked out of collimation? Well, she can fix it on the field. So we're going to take our time and show her the basics like a beginner should be shown, and the ins and outs of a working telescope. And we'll do the same thing with a mount. She knows that she can call either me or Kent or Scott, and we'll pick up if she has a mount question. She's not far from any of us, and we'll happily drive down there for her to understand how to use the equipment as well, because that's what we do here. We're a family. We take care of our customers. We take care of our employees. We want to make sure that they understand how things work so we can better help our customers troubleshoot their issues a lot better. And that's my point, is if Annie understands the basics like every beginner should learn, starting out, instead of just jumping straight into the deep end and struggling for the longest of time, it just makes everything easier in the long run. Now, speaking of telephoto lenses, are you wanting to, you said you were wanting to keep trying telephoto lenses just to get till we get your stuff done with your telescope. But have you thought about a prime lens? And prime lenses are more highly, they're kind of basically, they're telescopes in a sense. They're basically telescopes, manual focus, just like a telescope. Have you thought about looking into one of those perchance instead of, there's nothing wrong with zoom lenses, but it's just apparently from what I've read and what everybody's taught me is prime lenses are the way to go because of the fact that you can open them up, at least depending on which lens you get to. I have one here that I was going to let Annie try for a while. This is my 135 Rokinon 2.0. 2.0.
Wow.
So what that means is I can open the aperture wide up, all the way up to f2. That's going to be a little too high, honestly. She could start out at a 2.8 or a 4 and no more than a 5.6. And then she could just manually focus it on a star, and she can, and it's 135. This is a great starter lens for anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. And you can get, let's see, North American Nebula, which is NGC 7000. You can get all of Andromeda's galaxy in this. Anything you can think of, you can get it with this 135 millimeter lens. And I'm going to let her borrow it for a while until we get her telescope up and running. So Annie, please don't drop this. This costs me a lot of money. I know you won't, but I have to throw it out there for recorded purposes, just in case. So she can try that.
Make sure
out.
you have insurance.
Yeah. That thing, insurance.
I'm glad you trust me.
Yeah. But I want her to get the full experience that I never got. And I want her to succeed as a beginner because the customer service side in me wants to help her. And I'm just a nice person. I don't know why.
How about the Tyler Bowman side of you?
I want her to suffer just as much as I did. I mean, I started out.
No reason to be nervous, Annie.
No.
Yeah.
I started out visually. I liked visual, but I quickly, where I was at, it wasn't for me. Maybe if I was at a dark sky, like Mike Wiesner or John Adler, if I started there, I'd probably just stick with visual. I probably wouldn't even mess with DSLR stuff or even astrophotography because it's a whole different ball game when you're able to get into a dark sky. And just visualize that stuff. But I image from the backyard. It's a Bortle 6/7, depending on where I'm at. So, it's a give or take kind of thing. And I get with the time. Scott says that I have what you say. I like to buy all the latest and greatest stuff. I can't think of the word that he specifically said. But I do. I like to buy all the latest and greatest stuff just so I could try it out, just so I could help my customers.
You're an early adopter.
Early adopter. That's it. I'm an early adopter.
That's kind of 90s lingo, so.
Well. I like to help the customers. If I am able to get my hands on something that they can't yet, I can tell them, okay, this is how you hook it up. This, a little bit of this. easy peasy. So Annie, I'm gonna let you borrow my 135 2.0. If you need help with it, don't be afraid to reach out. So let's talk a little bit about mounts if we can. So you got your IXOS 100 how long ago?
I've had it, oh gosh. I showed it on a show. I can't remember. I've had it maybe 1 or 2 months now. I think maybe that time frame. And so I've been slow to put it together. My schedule's a little crazy. I have a 5-year-old. So when I don't have him, then that's when I try to do a little bit more of astronomy kind of stuff. I mean, I do stuff with him. It's just he's 5, so he's and I'm a single mom, so life is the way it is. But anyway, so I try to include him in as much as possible. But like when I took that photo, he was in the house. It was really cold, and he kept coming in and out. And so anyway, so it gets a little crazy. But so I try to do things when he's not with me, if I have to be outside in the cold. But my, I want to stick with the IXOS 100. I had a Mazo 1, which is a manual mount, and I get that. And I probably could go to an Exos 2 with PMCA, but I really don't like carrying around bulky things.
So what you're saying is it's heavy.
Yeah, well,
It is. It's a heavy mount. It's a bigger mount, and that there's a reason for that, so you have a bigger payload. But I think you said a key word. I know it was cold out at the night when you had Daxton, when you were shooting the Orion's Nebula, but that's the key. You're able to get your family member out, doesn't matter who, as long as it's a family member, to enjoy the experience with you. Because what did Daxton do when you showed him that picture?
he immediately saw Orion's Nebula and said, "What is that pink thing, Mom?" And so I had to ask you and Kent. I was like, "What is this?" And so you guys told me what it was, and I told him what it was, and I went and found pictures on the web of it, and he immediately started asking a lot of questions. What is it made out of? Just things. And so we got to have a conversation about what a nebula is and things like that. So that was really neat. He's really growing with me in this journey, and so it's really neat. In fact, for his birthday, I got him a pair of binoculars, and so he could do nighttime viewing on his own, and or when he's out with me. And so unfortunately they got broke on the first day, so he hasn't been able to play with them yet. But anyway, so yeah, so I've got to get him replaced. But he really is into stargazing and things in the sky and stuff like that. So it's really neat.
And there's some people commenting. Richard Lighthill says, unless you have money, which agreed, I would think that newbies at astrophotos should stick with a beginner with the kit lens. Prime lenses are expensive. Richard, they are expensive. They can be expensive, but you can also get them used. I have a 50 mil Nifty 50. Everybody knows what Nifty 50. I got it for $20 for a prime lens. It's older than dirt, but it still works. But yeah, the kit lenses are great for starting out. But if you have the ability to spend a little bit of money, I would just get a Nifty 50 starting out. That would be a great prime lens to start out with. And then if you want to upgrade from there, upgrade from there. Well, that's great, Annie, that you're getting Daxton involved. And I know you have other kids as well. It'd be nice to see them get a little bit more interested, but I know they're crazy teenagers, and I don't know what that's like quite just yet. Because mine's 10 and 4. So I got a little bit to go.
Well, I try to incorporate that. My 17-year-old was at the house. She had a little friend over hanging out, and I was like, hey, we're going to go out and look at the moon. Do you guys want to see that? And so her friend said, yeah, I want to see that. And so we got of course, Daxton's all excited, you know, I'm taking the telescope out with the mount and I get it all set up, and he goes back in and knocks on the door and it's like, you come see the moon, come see the moon. And so they come out and the kid was like, I've never seen that before. And I had my ED80 with I think it's a 6240 is what I have for eyepiece. And so, of course, Daxton's like, I want to see. So he steps back and lets Daxton see for a little bit. And the kid kind of hovered around my mount for a little bit. And Daxton got done looking. And I said, do you want to look at it again? And he said, yes, please. And so I let him look at it. He's like, I've never seen anything. He's like, you can see the craters. You can see like all the detail. And I'm like, yeah, you can see all that. He goes, that's crazy. So it's kind of neat to offer that to people that have never seen anything like that before. I mean, the first time I saw it, I was like, holy crap. You know, I mean, that one day y'all were out there looking at Saturn and was it Saturn and Venus?
Oh, the great. Oh, yeah,
no,
it was. Yeah, it was.
I had never seen that. You know, even working here, it's been a year working here, and Tyler and Kent were out messing with something, and they were like, "Do you want to see Saturn? You see Venus?" I was like, "Yeah." And so to see the rings and stuff is really cool. So it's really neat. It's really neat, but it really makes me think about the future of where I want to go with it. And so I know I don't want to go to a big bulky mount, and I know I don't want to go to a big bulky telescope. So I'll probably do something really lightweight and eventually work my way up to a astro camera. So
Good. So you like a good compact travel mount, and most people are perfectly fine with that because it's portable, and that's, I mean, you're not limited to what you can do because of the mount now. Not saying that you would be with like the Exos 2 with PMC8. Now with the Losmandy G11, there are dedicated people that will take those out. Scott's one of them, and use them, but they are rather heavy. They can be, but with the IXOS 100, you literally pick up done. I could pick it up with one arm and just put it down, but
well, it's not really. I mean, I can pick it up. It's not really that. I'm 5'2", so it's like you know, by the time you get a telescope on there, it's taller than me. So it's kind of it gets a little. It gets a little tricky trying to get it out and mess with it, and then trying to, you know, I don't know. I just kind of, after using that Mazo 1, I was like, I can't do this. I just can't do it. It's too tall. It's too bulky for me. And so being 5'2", and yeah, I mean, I can lift it easy and move it. I mean, so it's just by the time you get the weight on there, and then you're like as short as I am, it's like, I'm like, telescope could push you over. So.
Well, you do have the ability to lower the whole mount down by the legs. And that's the beauty thing with astrophotography. You want to be as low as, you don't want to be extended all the way. You don't. Because a lot of things start, like wind, it starts accentuating the movement more. So the lower to the ground you can, or the lower to the center of gravity you can, the better you'll be off. So we'll definitely have to do that next time I come out to your house and help you set up. We'll make it lower for you, for the shorter people in the world that can use the stuff, so they don't have to get on their tippy toes and their stands and everything else, or use their T-Rex arms.
Well, one of the reasons I have it up so high is because I have to shoot between my house and another house, because that's the darkest spot on my property. And then if you go back into the backyard, you have a spotlight shining from, I wish I had photos of it. You have a huge spotlight shining on the back of my house from a cemetery. And then of course there's a huge tree line. And then the front of the house has a street light directly on my property. So I had, you know, that's the reason I have it up so high, is because I have to shoot in between the two houses just to even find a dark spot to shoot at. So I mean, I guess I could go out into the light and try to shoot, but I figured why make the process worse and longer and harder?
Yep. I mean, that's the beauty thing about astrophotography is there is no such thing. Scott, I know you've been doing this a lot longer. We both have put together. There is no such thing as a plug in and play. You're going to have to work and get things moving.
Nor would you want it to be plug in and play. I mean, unless you're just going to do this once or just a few times and then you're done. It's just kind of like a gee whiz. I took this picture. But that would be like having a pro photographer set up everything for you and they'll let you snap the picture. Okay.
Yeah. It's not fun.
So what? You're not a photographer. You're a camera snapper is what you are, so. Right. So that's
whippersnapper.
That's what it boils down to. But you want to be an astronomer. You want to be an astrophotographer.
Mm-hmm.
And that lifestyle is filled full of adventure and exploration.
Yeah.
And heartache too.
Mm-hmm.
but the triumphs are amazing. So
they are. It's just that's going to be the sad thing and the great thing, that if any experiences all the trials and the tribulations, because Scott's been through it. I'm going through it and have done things that I wish I wouldn't have done, but that's going to be the learning lesson that she gets to deal with, but we can help guide her along the way and make sure she makes better decisions on how to do certain things.
What, you're not going to throw me into the frying pan and just let me?
I can. You want to be thrown in the fire?
Not any different than anything else.
Wow. So this is what we do here at work. We like to banter a lot, throw fire at each other, but that's good. I'm glad she's experiencing things that she's never got to experience before, especially joining us here at Explore Scientific. And I can't wait to see her grow and evolve into an astrophotographer now, even though she does have a photography background. That's what she says anyway. I haven't seen any proof, but it'll be interesting to see what she can do with a camera now, a mount, a telephoto lens, and then maybe in 6 months, if we can get parts for her telescope, what she could do with the telescope. Because if you could do anything with a camera lens, telescope is just another lens. After that, you got to learn processing. And Scott, that's today's show. I hate to say it's kind of short. We're going to have some more shows in the future. Hopefully everybody's going to get over this crazy sickness. I know you were down for a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
So
when I went to the doctors, getting checked up on, I attempted to get tested multiple times. They only let me get tested twice. But they said that it was so incredibly busy, because of the surge of Omicron, and as far as I can tell, that's what I had. I had very, as I've said before, I had very mild symptoms, but did get lethargy, fatigue, and that kind of thing. I'm still kind of dealing with that, but it's getting better day by day.
That's good. We have one question, Scott. It's directed towards you.
Okay.
Will Explore Scientific plan to ever make a camera star tracker?
You just never know, do you?
Never know.
You never know. We have lots of ideas in the pipeline, and a lot of those ideas do have to do with astrophotography, of course. So not ready to reveal anything just yet, but the people in the Explore Alliance will get the early reveal of any product that we have coming out. So that's what you want.
Speaking of Explore, I was going to say, speaking of Explore Alliance, we have Astrophotography Contest that's running just a few more days. So if you've got some meteor photos you'd like to submit, make sure you go over to the Explore Alliance and on our website and submit those in our Astrophotography Contest. So, and before we leave, I wanted to give a big shout out to Michael Carroll, space artist Michael Carroll. He's written some books. They're available from Springer.
This is just one of them. He sent me 4 books. This one's called Drifting on Alien Winds. And the entire book is has got it's written by him. It's got his illustrations are in here. So that this would be like one of his artistic renditions. His work is very realistic. It's very cool. I've been looking unknowingly at Michael Carroll's artwork for many years, decades now. And he's been appearing on our shows. He's been on Global Star Party, and I think he'll be perhaps on the next Global Star Party, which is Tuesday night next week. But again, this one is called Drifting on Alien Winds by Michael Carroll on Springer. And he did sign it. Look at this beautiful signature.
You get all the cool stuff.
Look at this. That's awesome. So
That is cool.
that's cool. So as we go along our shows, I'll show you the other books, but I think this is very, very cool. And what else would I add? We've got lots of things planned. I typed as I was typing during the beginning of the show, I was putting in something about hoping that you'll attend the Arizona Dark Sky Star Party. We're working on some amazing speakers. We've already got some great speakers lined up right now, including David Levy, Mike Wiesner, Vivian White. So I have lots of other people in mind. Mike Wiesner is also helping to get some incredible speakers as
Awesome.
well. So this is something you're going to want to attend. This will be a hybrid event. Okay, so if you can't, Beatrice, for example, she asked me, will this be online? Absolutely, it'll be online. We will have to work out the internet details, but it looks like it's going to happen as far as a broadcast. Probably can't broadcast the whole thing, and certainly there'll be advantages to actually being there live, because if you're there live, you can get a door prize. You can, there's a number of things that you can do that unfortunately you can't do if you're just watching, but you will be able to chat, ask questions, and be there with us as we do our lecture series, and hopefully be able to see some live imaging direct from the Arizona Dark Sky Star Party. So, and
Where's
I
it going to be
think that's
held
all
at?
that I have for right now. That event is September 21st to the 25th.
Mhm.
And
Where's it gonna
there'll
be at?
tickets
Is it
coming
at
up on
Oracle?
sale as soon as we get the logistics all figured out of this particular event. I'll be going there in February to go visit and see an actual star party go down, so that I can see what the lay of the land is truly like. But Oracle
you
State
taking?
Park, what's that?
Who are you taking?
Anybody wants to pay their own way, and it's cheap to go to Tucson. Just hop on a plane. Anyways, but we are, there'll be a crew of people, Tyler, that will be going from Explore Scientific for sure. So, for the actual event. Up until that time, I don't think I have anything more to add. I want to thank everybody for coming back on and watching us after we were off the air for so long. And you guys have a great weekend. And as my friend Jack Horkheimer would always say, keep looking up. Anything else you guys want to add?
Nicolina says hi.
Hello, Nicolina. Hello to Brazil. So take care and thanks a lot.